Good evening, everybody. Welcome to League of Extraordinary Inventors. I'm your host, Mike from Faraday Research. It is Free Energy Friday. It is May 23rd, 2025. Welcome to the show. We have John. He's one of our loyal guys that are in the chat, so he decided to come into the backstage tonight, and we were able to chit chat for a little bit, and that was great. And we also got Lulu. Hi, Lulu.
Hello.
And we also got Philip on as usual. And hopefully Bernie will pop in tonight too. And yeah, it's been a busy week. I've been working on the UPS power unit for my friend. That's been going really, really good. I got some more wire coming in this weekend. And I'm also going to be working on the UPS system for my storage locker so I can, put my lab together, right? So I could do all my work, all my projects in there. So with that out of the way, we are going to jump over to Phil, and he's going to give us his briefing, what's been going on this week. Some of it I've been following in the emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's three things I want to share. I'm going to start with the technical stuff first. I'm going to share my screen right here. Sorry, I thought my computer was about to freeze. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So I was searching the existing simulators. Like I was saying the other day, it's very hard to find an atom simulator like the one I wrote because the mainstream mathematics don't work. So I was looking around and I found this this Java based atom simulator. But we can see here the electrons are all at the same level. They're not. They don't have all their different layers like the mainstream physics is predicting. So either this is a wrong simulation or the mainstream physics are wrong. But I just want to say that I can't find a simulator. This one is pretty cool. I can find any atom I want, and I can do a rotation here.
Yeah, it looks really cool as long as you can change all the parameters on it, right?
Yeah, but you can see the electrons are all the same layer. They shouldn't be all at the same layer. They should, according to the mainstream notions, the Rutherford model, they should have all different layers. So, and if we represent the quarks inside the nuclei, then it's going to be even worse. So why would the quark not exit the walls of the neutron or the proton? There's nothing that prevents the quark from going all over the place. Because I'm trying to simulate all that, and it just doesn't work. And
Well, I think they're seeing it as particles in a field, and the field is the shells. So, and I guess that's how they simulate it. They wanted to say they're loosely bound, right? Because
yeah, but
electrons
what? Why would there be some sort of wall that prevents the quarks from exiting the proton or the neutron?
Isn't it the gluon?
Static force?
Right. Like
static cling?
Together?
Yeah, like gluon. So a gluon is like a calculation. It's one of those fudge factor things.
Yeah, so
they can't figure out what it is.
So anyway, my point is that there's no real atom simulator that exists because the maths don't work. The mainstream mathematics just don't work. So it's not very easy to find a simulation for atoms and quarks and things like that.
Aren't
And
sides supposed to be also rotating?
sorry,
Like the quarks and the neutrons and protons, aren't they supposed to be also rotating within the nucleus? They're not like just
they're supposed to be oscillating.
Everything wiggles, yeah.
Yeah, they're wiggling and things like that, but nothing prevents the quarks from getting out of the proton or the neutron, you know. So that's what makes so sense with the mainstream notion. They all think that they all teach like the teachers all say that the quarks these are particles and they're like pool balls, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pool balls that are solid, and when they hit each other, they bounce.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like that at all. I mean, a neutron or a proton is made out of quarks, and the quarks oscillate, but there's nothing that defines the wall of the proton or the neutron. And, it's.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you define as in between them, you know?
don't they call it the strong nuclear force? What binds them together?
Yeah, by the way, I'm using my theory is able to represent the strong and the weak nuclear forces, but that's just to bind the neutron with the protons and so on. And it actually repels electrons from crashing into the nuclei. So it's the opposite effect for the electrons. At close distance, the electric charge are going to be attracted. The same charge, identical charges are going to be attracted, and different charges are going to be repelled at a very close distance. So that's exactly what the strong nuclear force is. And but anyway, I just don't have all the. It's hard. It's hard to come up with to work on something when there's more than one error. You know, it's easy to write something when there's just one error to fix, but when there's multiple errors to fix, it's extremely difficult.
Mm.
In this case, all the maths are wrong. The mainstream maths to represent the atom are wrong. I cannot use the Coulomb's constant. Um, the Coulomb's constant because it's too strong, and it makes the electron just going away from the atom. So it just doesn't work. The Coulomb's constant doesn't work at very close distances. So um, that's why I need to lower the Coulomb's constant. The Coulomb's constant is the one that is used instead of the gravitational constant for electric charges. We use the Coulomb's constant
Right.
to calculate the forces between the particles, but it just doesn't work when I use the mainstream math. So anyway, that's all I want to say.
Are you gonna work on a peer review type thing, or are you gonna get a paper written, or
No, not for that because
no?
I don't have the solution yet. So I don't even have the solution yet. But I have the idea, but I don't have the exact maths. And
Right.
Is it
but
working on the same model or no?
sorry.
Is it working on the same model or no? Or is it a different model?
Well, in my model, I'm just using the hydrogen, which is very simple.
Right.
Um, I'm just using hydrogen or helium. I think it's the helium I'm using to simulate it in my simulator,
Right.
but I'm able to simulate it because the electrons are at the same level. But as soon as I increase the number of, the atomic number, then it starts being very difficult to simulate.
Okay, this is how I see it. You see the red and blue, you see that circle in the middle there? That's a surface, right? A Gaussian surface.
Yeah.
And the longitudinal goes from that surface out. Okay. So there's a gradient there. And the electrons, quote unquote electrons, are buoyant in that. Based on their charge level, they go up or down in that space. Think of it like water, you know what I mean? Like two air bubbles. And the density changes in the air bubbles and they'll go in or out, right? Based on that density of the air of the bubble, in that particular understanding of it. Does that make sense? And this way you don't need any force. You just have the force of buoyancy. And that's a law, really.
Buoyancy, right. Now, I'll look into that.
Now that buoyancy, is that a result of the charge?
It's a charge on the actual electron or whatever. If you think of it as a cloud, it could be the scum on the cloud on the surface of that ball,
right?
Or
what would cause it to like compress and decompress, and what would cause that?
Well, the matter. I mean, the matter is what controls it all. I mean, that would control the buoyancy of the depth of that field, right?
Right.
So the thickness of where the electrons are spinning around, right? So the depth becomes deeper and has more area to move.
Right.
Like a single electron will have a huge, motion. That's why hydrogen's so.
It's almost like an elastic type action, right?
It's fluid dynamics. I mean, basically that's all I'm applying here.
Mm-hmm.
It makes more sense to apply that, and then you don't have to make up a force of why does the electron not crash into the proton and the neutrons, because it's buoyant. It just stays afloat.
Right.
And it's based upon its charge level.
It's field. It's coherent field charge that's around it, right?
Right.
And
you could do particle or a cloud base and still get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I honestly don't believe the electron is a particle at all.
I don't either.
I've heard a few physicists actually starting to admit that now. It's a coherent field of energy.
Well, go back to the 1940s or 50s in the Army in films, and they'll tell you the electron is not real. It's a quantification. It's a measurement. And that's what we use to predict things in the real world. We don't care how we got there as long as we could predict. And that's all they were interested in. Now we're saying, well, wait, it doesn't fit on models and stuff. And now everything's crashing apart and everybody's, they can't be right. Well, maybe they were. We don't understand, the makeup of this because we can't touch it, feel it and see it.
Yeah, it's everybody relates it to an actual particle, and it's not a particle.
Right.
There's nothing solid in it.
Well, the particle thing came from point thing, and then it was like, well, we can assign a value to that point. And that's all that was. But it could also be a lump in a scum across the entire surface of that sphere as well.
But the reason why they called it a particle is they're able to pick it up with measurement in the tools, like a meter.
Well, I would argue anytime you try to measure something, you change the experiment.
Yeah.
So
that too.
And then if you don't measure it, then you're in Schrodinger box, which is could be either way.
Right. Yep. And that's where a lot of these theories kind of fall apart, right?
Yeah, so remember that was my simulator here. But I'm using I can speed it up here.
See,
Thanks, Vortex.
Phil, this is the thing I was talking about, is I have this particle idea. It's smaller than a real particle, so it's like a liquid crystal. And there's two halves to it. And if you squish it together, it looks like the Merkaba. And one of them's very dynamic, and that's the charge, and the other one is the structure, is blue, and that's voltage. And when they're together, they create neutral space. But when they're divided, they become ionic. One becomes negative, the other one's positive, north, south.
Okay.
And it all comes from this one little particle that got split apart at the beginning, And that's there's some way we can model that, and make sense of it around that other model. Instead of having the particles, we'd have like clouds of these little, like we'll say we'll assign a color to it, like red or blue, like a red scum around the spherical.
It's kind of funny you said that. Eric Dollard said the electricity is the waste.
Yeah.
Like you put it in a kind of a derogatory term. But
It's the dirty
it's like
leftover.
Sewage. It's the sewage of the ether.
Well, it's you split it, right? So the perfect is the one, the unified. This is where the Trinity comes in, okay? You have one particle that if you split it, it makes ionic. It makes radiant energy. So, and that's the Trinity. So when you bring it back together, it becomes calm and clear, but it can still transmit energy both ways because it has both those parts there.
Cool.
Okay.
So I didn't mean to take that over. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just wondering why you haven't come on earlier. You've been following us for a while.
Yeah, it takes a while before you, touchy-feely, and
and then get your feet wet.
I felt out, Nathan, and got comfortable with him, and some of the stuff that I talk about can be. This is the heavier side. All right, this is like Phil's side, where he gets deep into the stuff. A long time ago, I had to figure out. I just had this insatiable want to figure whatever this medium was out. And I just kept seeing, like fractals and all that stuff all over the place. And the fractal's already made. You don't even have to do it. But I just took the result of that fractal, which is that the red and blue making the one. That 3D concept of the Sierpinski triangle is actually what I think those particles look like. So, and that's what I wanted to try to get modeled, not the actual fractal itself, but.
Cool.
Okay. Interesting. But here they claim that they have all these levels here. Let me see.
It's good in that program. It can break it all down into its components. Right?
Yeah, you can see the valence or the parts where the electrons are and where the valence electrons are. And,
Yeah, maybe they do have levels. So apparently they're very close together.
What's that software called, Philip?
It's just called Atom Simulator. You can get it on GitHub.
Oh, on GitHub. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Just want to remind everybody, live chat is open. So if you have any questions, comments for our panel tonight, please do so in the live chat. And we'll post and we'll try to answer some of the questions. I'm trying to put as much as I can on the screen so our cast can see what's coming up on the live chat. So,
but anyway, the second thing I want to mention was that back in 2023, when I've been to National Harbor to present my technology or my multiple technologies. I suspected I would get plagiarized, but that's actually what happened because I proposed to teleport energy back then. I had this idea of teleporting energy to convert electromagnetic waves of high frequency but of low density into electromagnetic waves of low frequency but high density back and forth, so that when they're low frequency, they will go through materials and things like that. And Apparently, since exactly September 8, 2023, DARPA, they selected some big corporations to do the job for them, which is actually power beaming, which is exactly what I presented. So they did waste a lot of time, man. It's like I was there in July and in September,
Yeah.
I
When
already got plagiarized.
you're doing wireless energy transmission, transverse waves is the worst thing to use. Absolutely the worst.
Yeah.
You want to be using longitudinal waves, so you have instantaneous propagation, right? And this is what Tesla wanted to do right from the beginning. Like he was going in that direction, but the power brokers, they wanted the transverse way, power lines and transmission lines, and to make their little grid, and
Well, they
it
got
just
what they
kind of,
paid for.
yeah, yeah. But now we're trying to reinvent this stuff, and they're going about it the wrong way. Using transverse is absolutely the wrong way to go.
Well, I think their system is right.
What, these guys?
Yeah. RF is the way to go, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Let's
radio
just
frequencies, but
stick your head in the microwave. See how good that goes.
yeah, we already have enough of that with just the cell phone towers right now. They're like 1,000 times higher than what the
Actually,
IEEE.
it's such high frequency that it doesn't even touch your skin.
Yeah, but you know what? When I go to cottage country, you know what? I feel different. I don't feel like I'm bombarded by all these waves. And you just feel like you're able to calm down better. I don't know if it's just the air or I'm just hallucinating or what, but
Oh, you're right.
just,
Some people are more sensitive than others.
yeah, especially the Wi-Fi too. The Wi-Fi affects a lot of people, especially children.
Yep.
That was a big issue in the schools. They were thinking of shutting down the Wi-Fi's because too many kids were getting sick. So
like when we came here out, I felt better. So you're right. Yeah, like these things do affect us. Try like everything like your, go to your little like 10 minutes.
Your audio is really modulated there, Lulu. Your connection's not very good. You're all choppy. Oh, Phil, did you want to get into the interesting discussions?
And poor I saw here.
Yeah, I just want to say maybe Lulu she kept having the same problem. I talked to her this week using a different tool, and the connection was great. But it's only when she's here that she's breaking up. So maybe she's under surveillance or something.
Lulu, you're under surveillance.
I believe
you're a heat score.
I am. I definitely I am. There's no
it's the derp state. Run, it's the derp state.
The things that happen to me, no way that it could happen to a normal human being. So whatever. I don't care anymore. I mean, I was first. A couple of years ago, I would get angry, and I would try to confront the people outside that and they would drive off or run off or just disappear from the other side. Anyway, regardless, I'm learning to live with it. So whatever. I don't have anything.
Guys, I'm just gonna pop up for a quick smoke. I'll be right back.
But yeah, my phone gives echoes. It does clicking. Like, I could hear always sounds in the background. So I don't know what to do about it, honestly.
Just beat it up once in a while.
No, I say if you're listening on the phone, like whoever.
The higher the technology, the more you got to smack it around.
Oh, Gerald is here. Gerald. The
spectrum of 0-point radiation.
The G factor. The G factor. Hey, bring back Mike. Tell him to bring his phone outside or something. Anyway, I'm
Fine.
gonna wait for Mike to because I wanted to talk about what happened this week. Every there was a Michael Boyd from University of California, Santa Barbara, or something like that. He published a paper, and he wanted to have the opinion of the whole APEC community. So he integrated all Apex people emails in one thread, including Jack Sarfati, me, and everybody else. Everybody was there. I mean,
Without your permission?
Jeremy, um, um, and other important people. Everybody was in the thread. And then Jack kept insulting everybody, like, "Oh, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing," and he really kept like insulting everybody, and me I couldn't stand it, so I kind of replied back too, and he kept fueling the fire, back and forth. He kept insulting people, and at some point, I asked him the ultimate question. I asked him, Jack, if you're so smart, why don't you answer the following question? If you have a lonely star in an empty universe, can the star rotate? That's all I asked, and he couldn't answer. After it took him half an hour, I waited half an hour. It's just a yes or no question, and he couldn't answer it. And then his reputation just went down the toilet right there. He thinks he's so good. He insults everybody, and he can't answer a yes or no question. Then I'm the one who took over, and I started insulting him. And now he gave up. Every time I reply, he doesn't say anything in the thread. He just gave up. It's really a public humiliation, for him, because he thought he was so smart that.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah, that's what it takes, fight fire with fire sometimes. And so yeah, man, it's like it lasted the whole week, and I obviously I have to work during the week, so I don't always have time. So sometimes I get frustrated because the guy has nothing else to do than to troll,
Yeah. Well,
So
it's a way of life with them.
yeah. So yeah, it's completely unprofessional, and it's not the first time these theoretical physicists act like that. I debated on CosmoQuest and international skeptics in the past, and they're anonymous, but they still act like they still act like 5-year-old little kids.
Oh yeah.
Playing with Legos all day long, and we pay taxes for their salary, so they don't really care about finding a solution or not, or if their solution works or not, because they're gonna get paid anyways. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Why is he a money guy? Goes after
No, he's not
the
a money guy, but they're all like that. The people in the public service or people in the academia that just get paid based off grants money, or
Yeah.
students' fees and things like that.
Yeah, but you got to do it to what they're asking for.
Yeah, so that's why they don't have any pressure. It's like the Perimeter Institute or the Kavli Institute, with all these theoretical physicists. They talk about maths all day long.
Yeah.
We never hear about them because they never find anything. They don't have any pressure to find anything. So they just a complete waste of our money, you know. So so anyway, I told him my theory, and I explained that my theory very in like if 2 or 3 sentences, and then he just stopped replying. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't want to admit that he's wrong. He doesn't want to admit that he's either wrong
Or he just doesn't know enough.
or what he's working on is completely wrong. You know.
Yeah.
So these were the two answers he could possibly come up with, and that's why he didn't want to admit it. You know. But it was kind of funny. I posted the conversation on my WhatsApp finite theory group. Anyone who wants to take a look, it's pretty funny, and I can send it to them. But yeah, that was kind of you missed a conversation, Mike. But
Yeah, no, I was listening when I was out there on my phone. But what I can add to this is experimentation will always trump the physics.
Yeah.
Do the experiment first.
Yeah.
Prove it in the experiment that it does work, and then worry about the physics and the math.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the other way around. It's wrong.
Yeah, that's what I told Jack Sorfetti too. I told him I have 3 experiments that works, and I already got the attention of the U.S. Navy, you know. And I asked him. Then I asked him, "What experiment do you have, Jack?" He didn't answer.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, even Tesla, he didn't always work on the math. He did the math, but he did that later. He did the experiment first, proved it in the experiment, and then
he did a lot of work in math. He went to college.
He did.
He learned all the theories that they had at that time.
Yeah, but what my point is,
went beyond.
He went beyond, but he did the experiments first, and then he did the mathematics.
Nobody was doing experiments with AC. I mean, basically.
But that's how they teach now in the universities. Do the physics first and then build it. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. Come up with the idea, build it, and if it works and if it's showing some really cool anomalies, then try to work it out on the math.
Remember a couple of weeks ago when I was saying that the force field would require peta-amps of power and things like that, but that's because I was stuck on the theory. When I did the experimentation, I figured, oh wow, it's much lesser than I expected. You know, the required current. So,
yeah.
So is it possible still?
Yeah, it's possible with the current technology. It's not astronomical anymore. That's why the Navy they want to talk to me, but they're waiting and have a peer-reviewed paper first.
Does that come from material science? Just better materials?
No, it's just you have to do the experimentation, and it's about the amount of it's kind of a voltage. It's kind of it's hard to explain, but it's kind of a voltage, the amount of energy per the amount of energy per coulomb, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of I wasn't sure. The theory says, or the amount of the amount of energy or mass per coulomb. Energy and mass are the same thing, but the amount of energy per coulomb, and it's I wasn't sure about the theory because I was using different equations. I would get different results, And then I said, "Oh, the hell with that!" And I'm just gonna experiment, man. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
You have to do it. You have to see for yourself. And if you get a positive result, and then you start questioning how it happened.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm guessing it got you into the ballpark, right?
Sorry.
It got you into the ballpark, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. I thank God that it's the experiment was positive because I was relying on luck just for that to work, but it did work, and now I'm pretty happy about that.
Hey, sometimes the biggest discoveries go on a hunch, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that happened exactly with the Piezo's, right? I just had one and I said, hey, what would happen if I hooked it up to the pulse motor? So I decided to short it out on the coil, and hey, lo
Wasn't
and
most the
behold,
most important discoveries were basically accidents?
yep, yep. Same thing with the there's a good video out, actually. I have it on my Patreon, about the cold heat engine that was built in Toronto, Canada back in the early 1950s
Hmm.
by Lee. I screw up his name. Leon Taz. There were three British guys. Ian Taz. What's the other two guys' name? I'm horrible for names, but anyways, these guys were all hired by Avro when they were building the Avro Aero, and they had a separate subsidiary company called Energetics, and they were based in downtown Toronto, and they were doing a test with a giant coil and like a tube within a tube, and by accident they had it hooked up to a generator. They're polarized that coil, and they dropped this carbon rod by accident through the tube, and all of a sudden that carbon tube start glowing red hot. So they got this interesting effect, and they try to figure it out. So one thing led to another, and what they did is they took basically a off the shelf refrigeration unit, and they built the device but in a larger scale, and they found out the effect even got greater when they start blowing air through that tube when the carbon rod's in there, and it created excessive amounts of power, so much power that eventually down the road they were able to loop that power back into the system and have it actually run itself. So basically, as soon as they turned the machine on, that was it. It was on. It never stopped. There was no off switch. So
they were burning the carbon, basically.
yeah, well, the carbon was attracting the
Well, it
basically
acted like
radiant.
an element.
It's an
oxygen,
element, but
right.
it was attracting the radiant energy from outside and drawing it into the machine.
Weird.
So they concluded that it was basically like an open circuit. It wasn't actually a closed circuit; it was an open circuit, because they were getting way more heat energy coming out than what they were putting in electrical energy to actually get that to happen.
Right.
So they went a step further. They wanted to create that thermoelectric effect where you have one side hot and one side cold. So they put a refrigeration unit on the other side to make it super cooled on the other side. And they also got excessive more power when they did that. So it was like a real big kind of modified refrigeration unit. That's why they called it the cold heat engine.
Right.
So to make a long story short, after Avro basically shut down, Diefenbaker shut that program down. Energetics was kind of a subsidiary company of Avro. Like they were working on many projects other than the cold
I've
heat
heard of
engine
that
there.
company before.
Right, they were based in
Didn't they have
downtown
battery
Toronto.
chargers?
Oh, whole while. No, that's a different company. No, this company was back in the 40s.
Oh, okay.
1940s. So,
Gotcha.
So after Avro shut down, the Avro car project got basically put into the Black project and shipped back to, I guess, Area 51 or whatever they were doing at that time, right? And but they wanted to continue with this cold heat engine, so they were trying to get investors to invest into energetics to further the project. And then eventually down the road, as always, the politics got involved and eventually shut them down. So, but it was a good documentary that I had posted there. Actually, I got it in my what do you call community section of the Faraday Research YouTube channel. If you scroll down, I've got I think there's like 3 videos there. So it's a good hour, 2 hours worth of a real good history on it. So
Nathan is not here tonight.
No, he did a show earlier tonight. I actually hopped on there for a little bit. So yeah.
There's Gerald in the chat. I think.
No, this is a different Gerald.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
different Gerald.
Gerald too. Yeah.
Yeah, Gerald too. The mystery Gerald.
Okay, because I want to say that when I debated with APEC this week, well, no, not well, Sarfadi, I figured to achieve a FTL, you need to lower the gravitational potential. So we need to find a way to block or cancel the energy density, which is the same technology I was proposing to harness the ambient energy density that we are in. You create a void, and then because you have a void, you're gonna have a differential.
Yeah.
And differential will create the actual electric current or energy potential.
I used to work at the airport back in the 2000s, and when I was working on the jetliners, I worked for a cleaning company way back then, and we were able to walk on the wings and basically the whole plane, right? The A380s and A360s and all the big jumbo jets. And they have these round silver pads that are on the fuselage, and they got these little holes on them. So one of the engineers plane mechanics was there, and I asked him, what are those things on the side? And he goes, those are static grounding devices. So while they're traveling through the air at 47,000 feet, that fuselage, well, obviously it's all steel, right? It creates a huge static charge
aluminum
on the plane. So they have to ground it out. And that's what those static pads do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just discharge points, that's all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. But anyway, you get the idea of what I was saying. You create a void, and then you create it's going to create a differential, which is going to create an electric current, just like the thermoelectric devices that converts.
So you're talking about like Nathan's doing, creating a void and creating a sink, and then letting it flow into the sink.
Yeah, exactly.
You let the energy flow in.
Exactly.
Gravity
you create a differential, and because of the differential, you'll be able to create an electric current or a force.
Even out in space, because space does have
because the energy density is very high, even in vacuum.
Yeah.
Now, I did the experiment what Eric Dollar did. I took 2 Tesla coils. So, normally they're facing upwards, right? So what I did was I took the 2 Tesla coils and I pointed them at each other, right? And I put, what do you call, not a neon bulb, but a fluorescent tube bulb in the middle. And what will happen in the middle of that bulb, you'll get a dark spot. So the longitudinal waves are canceling out the field when they hit each other, creating a void.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you need, something like that, to create that void spot.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about you're talking about destructive interference a little bit.
Yeah, see, if this is true, you got energy hitting each other, right? automatically you're going to think that there's going to be heat and hysteresis and light and all the discharges coming off it. But if this is a true gravity well, okay, and there's a definite void from the longitudinal waves colliding, well, guess what? You just violated the second law of thermodynamics. You've destroyed energy.
No, you haven't destroyed. You just pushed it out. You imbalanced
pushed
it.
Well, if there's no sign of it, if you can't register,
You're just pushing it out. It just goes to the surface. That's where Phil's idea comes in, or the shield. The surface is the shield.
Right.
You don't even have to do anything. It's there already. Just got to energize it.
So you think the energy's still there in that void spot?
It's just, it's a negative.
Well, the net energy is null, but so the energy density is going to be null, which is what I want. But you need to synchronize. You need to align, or I need to know from what direction the energy is coming from. Because right now the ambient energy is random. It comes from many directions.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to know the light rays coming from where the vector. I need to know the vector of the energy, and if I want to cancel it, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you want it to be targeted.
But that's just one way. But I figured another way that I'm not gonna publicly share.
Yeah. Some of the stuff I think you better keep it offline.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should make it smaller then, like we were talking about. Smaller spheres. That way you could do it directional. Anywhere around the sphere, use the smaller spheres around the sphere, like nodes on a electrified ball in the middle of like a plasma ball. It'll form these little nodes, like little dimples, reverse dimples on a golf ball. Instead of going in, they go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that way you could pick wherever you want that particular little shield thing to reflect or accept whatever is coming.
Yeah. But yeah, I had an idea of how to do a ball, just a ball that has zero energy density in it. But I need to test it first, and it's not expensive. That's a great thing. It's not going to be expensive, very expensive to do, but it's a cool experiment.
Should work.
Yeah, do it on a small scale. I don't know,
exactly.
something keeps
Sometimes
going.
it's hard to do on a small scale. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't get an effect until you hit a threshold for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, Bernie is not here yet. I want to hear his opinion, because I think he was in the Jack Sarfati thread mailing list this week.
Yeah. Was he getting involved?
Sorry?
Was he getting involved?
No, he didn't say a word, but he saw the conversation.
Yeah, that's hilarious. You schmuck.
I could kind of assume that you could also, with the smaller ones, you could use it for propulsion as well. You use it for
I don't know. Shockwave always seems to be coming back to my mind, creating a shockwave.
The thing is, you just have to design a control mechanism that can control 360, and be able to sense all the way around you and be able to adjust as you go.
I always kind of picture to create a force field like that, you have to use kind of like a shockwave type method. Just a big burst of it, like a big burst of energy. but have it synchronized so you sustain that field, right? It'd be a very, very sharp pulse. So it'd be like discharging a big capacitor. You know what I mean? That creates a huge shockwave of
Yeah, exactly.
EM.
And the shockwave will create a force.
Right, it does.
All right, I'll give you an example. We have a couple satellites that went over the threshold of our solar bubble, and they detected a huge plasma wall there, a very hot plasma. All right, so it's probably the kind of a model that what I was suggesting is that inside everything appears normal, but on that bubble it's energized, and it reacts to whatever comes at it is its strength. So like as we're going through the galactic medium, we're plowing through it. That bubble is acting like the bubble on our planet. When the sun hits a CME against us, it moves and it responds. And it's like a coil. It'll respond. It'll resist being moved. So it'll energize, if it's trying to be pushed on. So then they call that it's like a wake. The bow shock, I think it is, as if we go through the medium of the galaxy. So I think that's probably kind of a thing that if you're thinking about it, like you said, it's neutral inside, but on the outside, there's that sphere that you can set that can turn hot, let things pass through.
Or even like
bounce.
ionized.
Yeah. Like I said, plasma, wherever, something tries to impinge on it, it just reacts. And that way you don't have to energize the entire thing. It'll just respond when something tries to encroach into it. That way you wouldn't have to have, bazillion joules,
Hey, look who dropped in.
Hey, Bernie.
Hello. Good day, good evening. Sorry I'm late.
Well, better late than never, right?
Hey, Bernie, did you witness the debate with Sarfati this week?
I heard, but I have not yet had the chance to take a look at it. That's pretty hilarious. How'd she go?
He was insulting everybody, and I just destroyed him. And now he doesn't argue anymore. It's like I did a public humiliation.
I'm just gonna lay down over here, okay?
No problem.
Oh,
yeah, it was a shit fest.
I believe it. So you made his schmuck target list number 1, you're saying, Phil?
Yeah. He's the top 3 schmucks.
Oh, it sounds like number 1 for the moment. You better watch out. You're going to get some MK Ultra action going on.
What helps against that?
What is that?
Intention.
Philip's smiling
for that. Like he keeps on saying that he's being invited to Moscow. He's being like, man, I've been hearing Jacques Sarfati say that he's being invited to Moscow for the past 3 years. Like, just go already.
He actually has gone over there twice.
Leave.
In their 3 years.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Traitor.
Oh yeah. He's over in Europe all the time, and he did go to Moscow, I believe, right after Trump won already. So
why didn't he talk about it? He just says that he's gonna go, but he never says, "Oh, I went and this is what I did and this is what happened." Just keeps everybody like, "Oh, I'm gonna go," but he just never does. Doesn't say anything.
I think with the Russia, though, right now it's like he can't give information on it because it could be potentially politicized and used against him, sort of thing, with the conflict that's happening.
Yeah.
Same with China. Can't travel there. Anywho, just getting set up, and then I'll have some updates for all you lovely souls.
Yeah, but So basically, so Friday couldn't answer a little question, very easy to answer, and he couldn't answer it. And for me, it's he went down into my esteem for whatever esteem I had for him. But the question was if you have an empty universe with a lonely star in it, can the star rotate?
Because so it's like he wants to say yes because he knows that's the right answer, but he knows he has to say no due to the physics paradigm of academia that is wrong in the Big Bang. So you got him stuck on that. Well done.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Either he was wrong, or he would have to admit that his
You trapped him in a
credentials is
double
wrong.
wrong, right? Because it's like he'd either have to admit it's wrong or he knows it's wrong, but by like going with it, then it's like in the future when he publishes his work that's actually based off of real physics, then he's double speaking, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
When he goes the shill route, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I think he's got a portion of that going on throughout his career being the CIA scientist, so
Yeah, people talk. And it's not like the CIA is going to tell you if he belongs in there or not.
oh
People
no,
know
it's
that.
public knowledge. He's been with them for 60 years. He's well established several papers and projects that his name was on, and like that like his public records of payments and stuff, like that's who he works for. It's not just someone making up claims. That's all legitimate information.
That he worked for the CIA. I just thought
For 60 years, like his entire career.
So he's a spy.
That's also half of his documented history, 100%.
Oh.
Like, you've never heard his spy stories?
They don't all spy.
No.
There's other jobs in the CIA. There's a lot
So
of
he's
jobs.
He's the one sending the men in black and all that.
It's not all spy work.
No, I think they're unrelated and potentially even not even connected to American and possibly not even to human institution potentially.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not sure on that.
It's a lot of stuff in the CIA that people think it's all foreign work, but it's central intelligence. It doesn't say central foreign intelligence. So they do a
Very
lot
true.
of internal and external work. So
they're probably tapping into the show right now.
Oh yeah.
well, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, they are for sure.
They got it into your whatever operating system you got too.
Yeah.
So your phone, all of those are monitored. Spy on you. Google listens to you all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, you'll talk about something
It's true.
and you don't have your phone on, but it's still there, and you go to sit down and you'll see ads on your computer.
Yep. Facebook.
Not more than 5 or 10 minutes later.
Yeah, exactly.
So it gets something from another one that knows your voice, and then it pipes it to knows everything about you.
It's like at some point I was driving in my hometown, and there was somebody in my car, and then I said, look at that bar, how boring it looks like. And then an hour after, I started having ads of that bar on my Facebook feed.
Oh, Facebook's the absolute worst for it.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
100% right.
I gave up
You know
Facebook.
what?
a
I
long
don't
time
even
ago.
have to say anything. You know what? I didn't experiment. I just thought of it, and maybe about 3 hours later, it popped up.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. I don't even have to say anything anymore. I can just think it.
So they're scanning your brain, huh?
Well, what do you think? What do you think that COVID vaccine is?
Hey, don't get your channel canceled in my
Yeah,
Live.
come on, don't do that.
Sorry.
He's never.
Oh, he got canceled already, man.
Oh, yeah, I
That
know.
was quick.
No, he panicked.
It's like, oh no.
Oh no, bail.
So this is his projects that he has. What has he got? He's got some pyramids. And then
He's
got
doing
Ormus.
electrolysis and
Sorry,
enormous.
BRB with my proper count.
You know, you guys were talking about teleporting energy.
yeah.
Well, didn't Japan just invent a laser that could reach the moon? Isn't that a form of energy? You know,
Sure.
from one side to the other.
Yeah, but the laser can lose a lot of energy because it's a normal light, and normal light will bounce and reflect off dust, the clouds, and things like that. You know.
Bodies.
And
People.
but if you're using microwaves, it's gonna go through these materials. You know.
Lasers have the ability to burn everything between it, especially when you're dealing with that kind of power.
But can you imagine that they created something that could reach that, far?
Well, light's pretty good. I mean, doesn't take much to really do it. I mean, I've seen people mark the moon with lasers that we have, commercial lasers. So, but energy transfer is a lot different. A lot. So, crickets.
Yeah, so I was reading my emails.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. We multitask while we do the show sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's good. Good to stay connected.
Yeah, sometimes things pop up and you want to show it. Sometimes I go over my YouTube channel while we're doing the show and I present it. Or I see a good video or whatever, I'll post it.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to do a dolphin bubble video.
Dolphin bubble video?
Oh, you'd love that. I think Lulu would love it. Dolphins, sure? Yeah.
I like dolphins, but what is the dolphin bubble video?
Yeah, they blow bubbles with their spout, and it comes out like a toroid, and then they play with it. It's awesome. I was trying to use that as an example for.
Oh, right. They create the toroid. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. Well, it's funny you said that. I saw that not even a week ago. Not even a week ago.
Yeah, I showed it on when I talked to Nathan as well a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
And it's not just dolphins that do it. Scuba divers do it as well.
Yeah.
But the scuba divers are usually when they're facing the surface and they just blow up. They could do it that way, like blowing a smoke ring, I think. And but dolphins do it naturally. Somehow they picked it up, and all of a sudden they just started learning. And the weird thing about it is these are captured dolphins, and they were learning somehow. One would learn in one place or one pod, and then all of a sudden, like 6 months down the road, all of a sudden another pod started doing the same thing. Now, how do they do that? They don't transport them around.
Yeah.
They're the same water?
No, different places. But the people watch them all the time. But there isn't a lot of videos of it. But I've been trying to find a good one.
Yeah.
Are you playing chess right now, Mike?
No, I'm trying to find something here to put on the show here.
There's an APEC tomorrow, but it's not being recorded.
Yeah,
Why?
I don't watch APEC.
Don't know.
Oh, it's the open mic, the lab. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Someone is spamming.
who's spamming?
So it says send them a link.
Send me a link. Send me a link. Maybe he wants to join.
Drive by.
Never seen the guy before. If I see
Yeah, I
regulars,
know.
yeah, I'll let them on.
Oh, so Bernie really got like suspended already just because you said the
No,
V
you had to
word.
go. No, you had to go to the washroom.
No, yeah.
Well, okay, just for shits and giggles.
He's going to lay low for a little bit.
I scared him. Gave him a heart attack.
As soon as he heard that, he was like, no!
I'm human. I do a slip up every now and then.
Come on.
Yeah, it's part of the fun.
It's not. Is it being recorded? If it is, it's easy to blurb over.
Yeah, I got it.
2 seconds worth of video.
Yeah,
that's that one.
Recorded. So that's the power unit I've been working on for my friend there.
That's what, 1 gauge?
Yeah, 1 gauge power cable on that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Over engineered.
Out.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? This thing will be cranking about, if I go 18, if you pull 1800 to 200 watts, that thing will be cranking about 200 amps. So you gotta have a good.
Is it 12 volt or 24?
It's 12.
12. Yeah, I got it.
If it was 24, I could go half that size.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've done battery work before. I told you I made a scooter.
Yeah, you were saying there, yeah. So that's just some of the pictures. That's my messy storage locker, which I'm working on to make a lab out of it. Actually, no, what I want to try to.
I never asked you that. Does it have a sound or no sound? It's silent.
What?
The battery.
It's
Except
only if it gets really hot, they'll have 2 fans on it. I got a couple of good videos here.
Where it's like,
okay, here it is. This is the one here I was telling you about.
It's just battery, Lou.
I
Should be silent.
Okay, here's the one I was talking about. Disruptive Technologies Go Black. It was 0 Point Energy group. This is about the cold heat engine. So what I'll do is I'll put the link here in the description and for everybody to see it, and you can watch this video. It's really fascinating. Posted here on the live chat. That's the link for the video. So after you watch our show tonight, you can click on this link, save it in your favorites or whatever. Watch it. It's a really good documentary on the cold heat engine. So,
I like the Best of Vader 2 hours full matches versus Sting. That's classic.
yeah, the wrestling you're talking about. Yeah, I used to follow wrestling too.
Showing your list there.
Yeah. Oh God, I was big into the wrestling when I was young.
Yeah, that's fine. I was into it. Was. $1.
You remember Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah.
In The Rock.
Yeah.
That one up above that Floyd Sweet one. That one.
Okay.
The Blush Wall.
This one here.
No, the magnet one down below. Yeah, the big
one?
sandwich there. Yeah.
Oh, that's a Floyd Sweet device.
Yeah.
VTA.
Yeah, there's something to that. They're wiggling the Blush Wall back and forth, and that's setting off the coils down below. Like it's some kind of a tetrode, or not a tetrode, but
I think it's more of like an electric. That's what Bendini was saying.
I don't exactly. It's current based. It's the coils are making it current based, but
I made a homemade coil winding machine.
I'll just activate it. It just transforms, sucks in the energy via the block wall.
That's one of my. Those are the 2 piezos there.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good documentary too on Nathan Stubblefield. That was done in 2008. Just some of the old pulse motors I've worked on.
Yeah, those are fun.
Oh, this one is the. This is one of my best videos that I've posted. I got over 8,000 views on this. The End Machine.
Yeah, it's a good subject.
Yeah, but your counter is like I was saying, it's people click on your the like button, but it's just the counter does not increase
What, on the End Machine?
on your YouTube videos.
Yeah, you could click on it and it'll go right to the video.
Yeah, but I'm saying people click on the like button, but the counter is not increasing.
It's not
Oh,
recording that. It's just recording
yeah.
the statistic for
Yeah,
his side.
right. It actually uploads it later onto
Yeah.
the YouTube channel. It's
Okay.
interface.
Oh,
with it.
that's not YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, this is on. Well, this is YouTube right here. This is on YouTube. But as we're doing the show, it will stream live, but it takes a while for it to save it after the show is done. But
Okay.
it saves it on the StreamYard platform.
Oh,
So
yeah.
after the show, I could go into my library and I could see all the shows we did.
They just use it for the analytics and later on to give you money if you showed ads.
John Serjanka, that's another good video about this guy. This guy was an interesting guy.
Yeah.
This one, oh yeah, the negative resistor.
Yeah.
That was another good one. Some of my other projects here. Oh yeah, this one here is a good one on Eric Dollard interview. This is at I think the Higher Side. Yeah, this was the Higher Side podcast he was on. That was a good show. That's definitely a good listen to.
When he's younger, that guy was brilliant, man.
Yeah.
He's just so smart that he just, I don't know, couldn't fit in, I guess.
Those are the wheels for my my generators. I did those on the water jet. Those are actually water jet cut.
Ceramic bearings? Nice.
Yep. Yeah, you have to use ceramic bearings. If you use steel bearings, it's going to interfere with the motor and cause cogging. Yeah. Those my old experiments. I actually had a plasma ball there. Just creating a field. What else I got here?
Pretty big one, too. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Creates like a 5 or 6 foot field off that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got the plasma tube now. So that works really well. I did some cool experiments with that. That's my Orgon accumulator. I was working on that, the Wilhelm Reich Orgon accumulator.
I'm suspecting this is the way we shield our coil. Right here. This is how we keep the longitudinal energy from getting out.
Yeah.
You lock it within the capacitance and the layers.
Yeah.
So you change it from longitudinal to spherical.
Yeah, it's very time consuming to make that damn thing. Like, that's only 4 layers. I wanted 10, but I just ran out of material. But it's pretty big. It's I think it's
steel wool.
Steel wool and cotton
Mhm.
And then I got the galvanized steel box on the inside.
Yeah.
And then it's a fair size. It's 8x8. So
No, Tesla didn't use steel. He used like zinc, I want to say.
yeah, any kind of steel. But when I was studying James DeMeo, PhD, he worked on the Reich stuff, and he was saying galvanized steel worked good as the inside plate.
Hmm.
Yeah. He passed away too. He's gone. A lot of these guys are dying off.
Well, they're getting older. I mean, look at
Yeah.
him. Look at
Yeah,
Dollard,
Walt
man.
Jenkins.
Dollard
Yeah,
looks like an old miner.
He's like 70, 76. I think he's around there now.
I'm surprised he's that old.
Yeah. He's outlasted most guys. Well, look at Paul Babcock. He wasn't that old.
Yeah. Maybe he found the fountain of youth. He was messing around with stuff out there in the desert, dude.
Yeah.
That's what Aaron set him up there out there. He really was trying to help him, but the situation got bad, I guess.
Yeah. What him and Dollard got into conflict a lot, or
No, they were trying to set him up in the lab so he could do his work, and it kind of exploded.
who exploded? Dollard or Aaron?
Dollard, pretty much.
So he's just kind of.
He
I think
just
he
can't handle
seems
it.
like it. He looks like he's a guy that's a bit of a loose cannon.
He's just wild, He just couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle being boxed up and closed in.
Right.
He was like a wild animal, just pacing back and forth.
Right.
So he's a brilliant guy, but it's very wild.
Well, you
Some
can't.
people took advantage of it, but
Hard to isolate the smart individual because then there's no outlet.
brilliancy has it's not balanced. It's like if you're very brilliant, it seems you have other eccentricities, and ADHD, oppressive, suppressive disorders, and all that kind of stuff on top of it. It's just
Eccentric.
yeah. Well, I guess looking into some of the stuff that he was looking into, I mean, nobody's going to like you, right? He's going against everybody.
Well, I think he's got a lot of anger in him, because of all the stuff that's happened over the years.
Sure, yeah. I would be
So
angry too.
Yeah, he's kind of resentful and
literally he was living out of a car, wasn't he?
Yeah, for about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, lived in the desert.
Yep.
Eating out of garbage cans. So yeah, he had a pretty rough.
Yeah, pretty rough life. I kind of sympathize with that, but
and you guys wonder why he's angry?
oh
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I don't wonder.
No,
I know.
We understand.
Yeah. I don't think there's a way to point a finger and say it's that fault,
Well, he would build things up. He would get a good lab going, and then they'd take it away. And then
or something would happen, or something catastrophic happen.
Yeah, or he'd be on the street again, and then somebody would pick him up again, and then build a new lab, and then get screwed over again, or the lab gets embezzled, like one of them did. I think the one at Land.
Yeah, they did a big thing on a donation thing, and they got them all kinds of money and set up, and then they took all the money on them. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
Just like flies, man.
Yeah, they're a bunch of vultures. Yeah.
He should have hired like a security company to protect his lab from anybody,
Man, I think he was being held over him or something. I don't know. I don't want to go into that, but whatever the deal was, it sucks because he definitely was a brilliant guy. Was I don't know what you could say, but it's harder to nail it down now, I thought he would answer the things that at least I was looking for like Tesla.
Mhm.
And then it just didn't go anywhere.
Well, I think he just, over those years, he bumped into a lot of characters that said they were going to be his friend and
Yeah.
turned out to be his worst enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's life, right?
Yeah. So I don't know his position now, if it's any better or worse, but I think he's just at the point where he just doesn't care anymore.
I think he just pulled back. He's wanted to fade back, get out of the limelight again.
Well,
He wanted to get his information out, but he didn't like the accolades. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, he did the energy, science, and technology conferences. And I was actually surprised he did as many as he did. You know what I mean?
Again, somebody was there. You know who?
Yeah. Yeah. For under his own free will or not.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to say get
Yeah.
into that. But yeah, I know, Var. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, we're we still got another half hour. Philip, you got anything else you want to add to the conversation before you fall asleep?
such
You need
a
a
busy
Red
guy.
Bull. Phil, you need a Red Bull. Get that Red Bull out.
Hey, come on now.
Yeah, I need to sleep early because I gotta catch the train tomorrow to go to Gatineau.
Yeah, he's got to get his sleep.
Because I need to do a little quick visit to my hometown this weekend.
You're from Sherbrooke or?
No, Gatineau next to Ottawa.
Oh, we got to know. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got to know. Okay, I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where I'm from, actually.
Oh, you're born in Gatineau?
Yeah. No, I'm born in Ottawa, but I lived in Gatineau all my life.
Yeah.
All my youth, actually.
Yeah, it's a nice little part of Ottawa. You go over the river there, over the bridge, and you're in Gatineau. We went to the, I guess it's the, not Science Center. I guess, Science Center, I guess, on the other side there of the bridge.
Yeah, the museum.
Museum there, yeah, we went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in Toronto?
Ottawa, Canada.
Ottawa? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I went up there. I think we went there.
Yeah. It's that's in Gatineau, so it's just over the river from Ottawa there.
That's in Gatineau? So that's where you're from, Gatineau?
Yeah.
He's from Gatineau. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you Canadian?
No, I'm New York. Well, my family way in the past was from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Native. Half native.
Somebody in your family moved to New York?
What?
You said...
We're talking, yeah.
You're cutting off really bad, Lulu.
Yeah, she's under heavy surveillance right now.
Yeah.
She's got to get an iPhone.
She's in the crosshairs of the CIA.
I do have an iPhone, but I'm a big mouth when it comes to different things. I do speak up, so I'm not very well liked on these things. But,
yeah. Well, it looks like I think we scared Bernie off. He's like all messed up.
So I wanted to ask all of you guys live in Canada and you live in New York. Do you guys know how to ski? People in Canada.
Yeah, of course.
I do. Yeah. Snowshoe, ski, ice fish, hunt, fish, whatever else you want to.
I used to do snowboarding, skiing, played hockey for 16 years. Played soccer.
I used to skateboard when I was a kid. I can't do it anymore. I'm 58 now. If I go skateboard, I'm going to die.
I still play hockey once in a while, but it's very hard if you stop for a couple of years to get back into it.
Yeah, you let your feet get like...
Yeah. You lose
like
all your
rubber?
balance when you slap shot.
Like rubber.
Yeah, not so
took me-
stable.
Yeah, it took me like 45 minutes just to get stable on my feet again.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, I got back problems, so I don't go on the ice anymore.
Yeah.
So I can't
Yeah, I
get
played my
anywhere.
fair share of hockey, that's for sure.
I'm lucky I'm still walking. So
Yeah, I was pretty active as a kid.
Were
Always
you
was doing.
what grade of hockey you played? What division?
Before I played goalie and I also played right wing. I was right
Okay.
winger. And let's see, the last year of hockey, I got invitation to try out for the Ontario Hockey League, and that's when I pulled my back out.
Oh, okay.
I was in the tryouts there in Oakville, Ontario. You had to get an invite to
Oh, yeah.
go for the OHL, right?
Okay.
So I went to that, and somebody cross-checked me from behind and went flying into the boards and screwed my back. And that was the end of that.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
I
But
got a pile driver when I was a kid.
but you were in the you were in the double or triple A or something.
This was going into the Ontario Hockey League, so just above AAA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a lot of respect for that because
Oh man.
I never played double letters, even double letters.
Oh yeah, it was full contact.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe this guy didn't even come back and say, "Are you all right?" Because he cross-checked me from behind, and I went flying head first right into the freaking boards.
Wow.
I just kind of like slid for like 6 feet right into the boards.
Wow.
And I went to get up, you know, how you put your stick on one knee and push yourself up. Second I did that, my back went. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. My dad literally almost had to carry me off the ice or
Wow.
carry me to the car. I could barely walk.
Yeah.
Pinched nerve in my back for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
I broke my wrist when I was a kid ice skating. Like it was in a cast for, I don't know, like 6-7 weeks. Yeah. First ice skating, first time break my wrist, never did it again.
No.
Oh, I broke my
Skating
leg
or
in
break
hockey.
wrist? Sorry.
Yeah, I broke my leg in hockey too. So that was a pretty bad break. Broke the fib and tib on my left leg.
How did you
Yeah.
break your leg?
I fell down backwards and my leg was up in the air, and one guy went this way with my knee and the other guy caught me with the ankle going this way.
Yeah.
So it went,
Wow.
yep. Compound spiral fracture of my fib and tib. That was not a good day.
Yeah. I never. I used to fight once in a while in hockey, but I never played that. It was not playing the double letters at all, so it was not very competitive. You know, people wouldn't die to win a hockey game. You know what I mean?
It was a life or death, right?
Before the time of even the face helmets or whatever, or face masks and helmets, and it was wild. Ontario versus Quebec, the original hockey games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Bernie you caught earlier. I was trying out for the OHL.
Oh yeah, I heard all of that. So who was the inventor individual you were talking about? I didn't hear the name there just prior to that.
Me?
All of you. It was a group discussion there for.
Oh,
a few minutes.
which inventor?
That was like
device?
living out of their car and stuff for a little bit. You said
Oh,
right?
Eric Dollard.
Oh,
Okay, it was Dollard. That was Dollard.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It sucks how like a bit jaded he is by the just the negative experience, because he's one of the best and like most advanced and legitimate from growing up on the military bases, having all the access, but because of how advanced his work was and the amount of suppression and repression of the
Well,
70s, 80s, and 90s and early 2000s, it's like he was
See-
one of the major targets of trolls and of
Right.
like supposed
Yeah.
debunking and stuff like that. And it's
the
understandable.
two places that gave him the most trouble after he like down the road when he tried building his facilities. First one, he did a lot of work for the US Navy. The second place was after working for RCA. Those two places there pretty much put a target on his back after that when he went on his own. Right? It's like these guys were like trying to kibosh anything he did, just to kind of protect those institutions and their trade secrets, and you know what I mean.
Oh, of course. Like they were intentionally partnered or working or doing whatever with him, not as trying to learn, but the exact opposite of making sure that certain things didn't go public or didn't make any like specific secrets or whatnot, right? Like it's sad, and that it basically is handlers, right? As government hired but industry people, handlers of these inventors and genius minds that have so much potential, but the trauma of all of those years of attacks, now that things are more open and understood and like a full community of accepting and like looking to these people, especially Dollard himself, for the information, for teachings, and it's like they're just so permanently scarred and hateful towards
it's like like a shell shocked.
yeah, a shell of their original selves. Yeah, they're exactly.
You got to wonder if it was done on purpose.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. A million percent it is. And there's so many cases of it documented. The very first early algorithms, they were designed to both block real inventors and real breakthrough technology like Dollard, like Hutchinson, like Bendini, stuff like that. And then they would be designed to block them from the general public's view and access, while simultaneously it would be these funded debunk, intentionally not correctly reproducing their models, but actually funded and directed to make videos claiming that they were trying to replicate it, but with the actual hidden intention, but initial intention and instruction that they were to do it, and that they would make like 20 different videos on 20 different legitimate free energy devices that they would be building, and each one would come out bunk, and it was intentional, and that the algorithm would make sure those videos showed up for everyone that was searching those terms or those devices. And to this day, that's why you can see these channels, the gatekeepers, the liars, fakes like Electro Boom. I'm so good engineer that every single video 15 years later I still get shocked by high voltage, because he's a clown that's an entertainment that's put there to say free energy is impossible, and look, I've built this, I've built that one, and that there's a whole group of them that all built these devices but intentionally didn't build them correctly. And this is the exact same practice that was used and pushed against Fleischmann and Pons and their original Utah cold fusion release and the technology, and that only that was the institution academics doing this, where here we have just the YouTube do-it-yourselfers. But there's a reason why these gatekeeper channels were so prevalent with the millions of views, and why these devices never worked, even though people like everyone on this panel built them and had them working themselves. Your videos, our videos, still to this day never get 1 million views, even though it's like, hey, we actually got it working. And that's the reason why.
That is why I was so angry when I trolled this channel.
Why?
Because all those bullshit videos get all the views, and like these are
It's by
I've done
design.
the research. These are the only researchers and builders and experimenters on the internet that are literally doing it. You know, and the
Absolutely.
people that pretend to do it get all the views. You know,
But it's by design, Jarvis. That's the
it
whole
just
thing.
makes me angry.
It's a control grid. Of course, it angers all of us, and it should anger any honest, intelligent person that like the system has been designed to lie to the population and to humanity every single stage. And that not only did they get all the views and then establish the public mindset that all of these things that are fake and have been debunked, and that several reputable channels that definitely know what they were doing all tried making and none of it worked, just like the universities with Pons and Fleischmann's cold fusion.
But
When in fact,
we're gaining traction, though. I do
of
believe.
course we are. Of course
Yeah.
we are. But
Oh,
And
the
success.
if I
biggest
gotta be the
obstacle-
villain, if I'll be a troll, I'll do it. I don't care. I want the views. I want people to understand that this is literally the only people on the internet that's really trying to figure this issue
But
out.
the thing is we're not, but we are some of a group of the best, and there's not
Yeah,
a whole lot,
dude.
but there's several.
We are a group of the
them.
best.
But they've made it and established and hid these groups from each other as one of the most successful methods of blocking these technologies from being understood by the masses is by how they kept all of the different breakthrough energy and technology groups away from each other and kept feeding them the same debunking, gatekeeping videos that they were using of themselves or being produced on themselves. Like they used that same method against us, so that so many geniuses and breakthrough people in this community that had all that trolling and attacks, they also believe still that all the rest are fake, or the majority, because they never figured out the system of control and manipulation and bought back into it. And it's the ultimate method of compartmentalization.
Well, I would say the Rockefellers are because of that.
Yeah,
they try to stifle education, bro. You
not
know?
not tried.
Anybody with money is
established
going to
the
do that.
control after World War II. They literally are the
You
ones
know-
in America that funded and control to this day. I
The
believe,
The Russia actually
I'll call
funded
it
the
out,
World
dude.
War II.
Russia.
No, the Rockefellers are in charge of our dumbing down of
Oh,
education.
I'm pretty sure it's the Rockefeller Foundation that is still in charge of the educational program or whatever, the curriculum or whatnot
Well, they had
of
grants
public
that they
American
gave.
schools. And it's insane. And if they aren't right now officially, it's probably switched to some nonprofit that they're involved with and fund, and or Soros. And that if you look back historically in the 60s,
Let
70s,
them snake through the woods, man.
Jeez.
They can't hide forever. We'll call them out. Like it takes us to say, hey, this is what they're doing. And Bernie is right. But
exactly what we have to do.
we can
And
say, look, what you're doing, we're not stupid. We see what you're doing.
It's irregardless. If your technology works, why would it matter?
it matters because
just work on
the
your
technology does work, and it's been around for at least 50, 60 years, but we know at least 100. But that's the
Over
masses
100.
still
Over
exactly
100.
over
Yeah,
100.
way
But I'm
over
saying,
100.
from Tesla's
How old is the
sort of
pyramid?
thing. Let's just
12,000,
say from Tesla's
12,500 years.
Hey, if I could say one thing about the pyramid, pyro mid means fire in the middle, and Joe Bigman, I'm sorry,
John Bigman.
John, I'm sorry. He showed where you get the electric field lines and you get the magnetic field line. The magnetic field line was in the middle of the pyramid.
Yep.
And pyramid is literally pyro mid.
Well, it depends on also what's outside.
No, I'm saying when it comes to language, pyramid is literally fire in the middle.
Yeah, is that Greek or Roman?
Greek.
Pyro is Greek, right?
Yes.
Think so?
Yeah. No, but literally,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Jarvis, 100%, and it's key.
I knew
And
you would.
That's why the flame literally comes out of the capstone from the top into the
On
middle.
the full pyramid, like the pyramid we see
Well,
is not the
those are
original
Mayan
pyramid.
pyramids, isn't it?
Yeah. What we see is
Pretty
Like
much all of them,
Quetzalcoatl,
the geometry.
Quetzalcoatl or whatever.
yeah. It's a remnant. It's not the real pyramid that really
Well,
exists.
It's the base of it, but that when they found them, they were still buried with mud, dirt, and trees growing on top. And then there's been some restoration work on them. But also a key part is that all of the coatings of the Great Pyramids, whether it's Mesoamerica, North America, China, or Egypt, that they were found with either like a gold or metal the top piece, but then also the shell of like there's the polished limestone that was removed off of the Great Pyramid
They were electrodes.
and whatnot. Exactly, that's the key part, and that in
They were earth
Mexico, the
electrodes.
great
Yeah.
one.
They called it overground, literally with
It
concrete.
was
That's the technical word.
It doesn't matter what the mass is made out of. Crystalline is better, but
Yeah, I mean, it's like a big electric field emitter.
Exactly, and generator.
It's exactly. It
But
brings the
because
ground.
of the shape of that magnetic field, like John, right?
Yeah.
John Bigman showed that the electric field
is on the outside.
Cools
goes
out.
around. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I could do a cone. Cone's an interesting shape too, because with the pyramid you have charge accumulation on the corners. You know, it's a brilliant shape that
this is key, Jarvis. Actually, do you mind giving more of demonstration? And that this is such a fundamental aspect that engineers and physicists need to understand is geometry actually is how it directs energy. It actually is able from the shape to be able to amplify, just like with sound, you're actually getting more energy out just from how the structure is, right?
Yeah.
So
shape power. There's actually a book called Shape Power. I would recommend you to look at it. And it is kind of like orgonite based. You know, orgonite is similar though, you know.
Well, it's applying those geometries. Exactly.
It could be. Orgonite you condense, right?
Yeah. Orgonite.
That's because I think it's plasma that comes from the
they call
ionosphere.
It metal organic frameworks now in the technical language. They call them MOFs.
It's a huge static capacitor.
Metal organic frameworks.
Okay, well, say that again. The got the word. The short thing of whatever. What that just stood for? The anagram? No.
Can I show you something in person if you don't mind, Mike?
It's a MOF? Is that what it is?
Conic sections are how planets are supposed to orbit the sun. It's based off Kepler dynamics, okay? Conic sections. And then Newton went with that too. Okay, but conic sections can be like the top of a torus and the bottom of a torus, like an hourglass.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is inverted out of the center of the torus, the anti force in space.
Well, the torus is, if I just made this into an electret and spun it, it would produce a magnetic field. And it could be like 1,000 volts just sitting here charged.
Yep.
You could spin it.
You'll induce it, yeah.
Right. And normally you take a Faraday disc to put a magnet in there. Right. But I don't need a magnet. I can literally just spin this to get the magnetic field. Charge it at 1,000 volts.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not anchored. It's a
hybrid. Field. It's a hybrid of high voltage and high current, because if you know anything about Faraday generators, they generate high current.
Oh yeah.
They don't know how to get the high voltage.
Well,
all
you
you
just put it
gotta
to a
do-
transformer.
No,
Just
all you
throw it
got to
into
do
an
is
oscillator
it
and
has like
transform it.
a 1,000-volt electric that's covered with aluminum foil and spinning
If you
in a
can, yeah, if you can pull that
spinning
off,
just
it
by
would work.
itself to produce the magnetic field at 1,000 volts. That's a high current generator, so you get high current and high voltage
Yeah,
by spinning an electric.
right. That's if you can achieve that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing. Can you? What's the definition of electric again, please?
okay, so you can have a conventional electric that's charged on two terminals, and they call that dipolar because it looks like a magnetic field with the electric field. It kind of does that torus thing. You can have monopolar electrics though. With my method, I triboelectrically charge different materials to get a predominant positive or a predominant negative charge, and I can stack them however I want and use substrates to stack them or do numerous different things. This is just, an introduction.
Gotcha. And so what makes up the base electric to begin with?
Well, a normal electric, you can use something like Mike Faraday recommends, like polyethylene.
Yeah.
That is a conventional electric material, but in my patent, that would be considered a binder in my, because whenever you charge the polyethylene, it just polarizes the molecules. So it acts as the binder in my patent.
Gotcha.
But the aggregate is the surface charge that gives it volume density, not surface charge density. It gives it volume.
Right.
That's important.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know in the old
Thank you.
The old recipes of
Thank you.
Making electrodes, they use paraffin wax.
Yes.
Yeah, they use carnauba and
I want to do that just to teach it though, because
so essentially
99% of people don't even know what it is.
So an electric is like an electric insulator, but that has been imprinted with dielectric charge differential.
A magnet is a permanent magnetic field, and an electrode is a permanent electric field. Now,
it's the actual electric field
be
inside
monopolar,
the matter.
like an orchid, like with the field lines, or it could be bipolar with the field lines like a capacitor. Yeah. But you can literally make monopolar charges by dominating it with triboelectrically pre-charging the aggregate, adding the binder, and then you get the volume density. And the volume.
Are you sure it's a monopolar, or is it just out of balance?
It's never going to be a strictly monopolar.
Right. I was going to say this.
Yeah, it's going to be more dominated by one pole than the other.
Right. Like a magnet, basically, like the South Pole is weaker than.
But you can literally make them at two different times, one positive, one negative. And that's what I'm trying to get at, because you can combine those and stack them.
Right.
It's a different way of thinking. It's a different
like a battery.
Okay.
Hey, was that my
suggestion? If I may say, it's like the Zamboni. It's like a Zamboni pile. It's a Zamboni pile.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't it? What,
yes.
I
get 100%. I understand everything you're talking about, Jarvis. Just don't give. We'll talk more after the stream ends, my friend. But we will
Send
go
me the link.
into
it. Hey, dude, you gotta get Facebook, bro.
I have Facebook.
Dude, hit me up.
We're live on my Facebook right now, even actually, on both my YouTubes and my Facebooks. But yeah, no, just before we end this, or after the stream ends, make sure you stay on, and we will figure something out to continue on. And
Roger.
As right before we continue on this live, Ben, Fidge TV, how are you, my friends?
Ben,
glad you joined. And
hey, what's going on?
There's Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Hey.
Ben.
How you doing?
Can you please give me an Elmo laugh? If you
You said what?
an Elmo laugh,
An Elmo laugh?
please.
I don't know. Maybe he's around here somewhere.
Or yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Oh
bro.
God.
That's silly. I love it. Thank
I
you.
haven't heard that in
Amazing.
40 years.
It's good, man. Like we all need to just go to a campsite. Like I don't mind. I was the troll, but I don't care. I'm a bad guy. I'm a good guy. I can be whatever guy you want. It's all about just like let's get people interested. I don't care because we got it. Nobody else got it, but we got it. Dude, this group and Nathan's group and Crypto's group got it. And nobody else got it. Like we got it.
Oh, didn't they say the meek would inherit the earth?
No, there's lots of others that do too, but we are a pretty good group, and we can all get together and have the most epic science time ever. It's already happening, and it is happening the first or second weekend of August in Albuquerque, New Mexico, for Tesla Tech, where I will be doing my first public-private event presentation. But also joining there and presenting will be Bob Grenier, as well as
Tesla Tech.
what?
Oh, good job, dude.
Yeah, so we're all meeting up there. So everyone here should also join and meet us there, because it's going to be one epic event. And there's also, oh my goodness, Jared Polak is going to be there and presenting. Amazing. Do you know who that is, Jarvis? His work with structured water or easy water?
Well, easy. Yeah, I recognize that. Yeah, sure.
So another, I guess, professor and lots
The exclusion zone.
Exactly, structured water, but charge density or
Bro,
charge.
like I got all this, guys. You know.
Exactly.
Dude, imagine realizing like 10 years ago how electrics could advance technology, you know, and then trying to share it now.
Yeah, wasn't it like a big?
Oh, now is the perfect time, Jarvis, because I actually fully understand and a bit more of what that implies, but we're not going to talk about it publicly, and we're going to stay on afterwards, and then we'll come up with the plan, and then we'll do another one private immediately after, because I understand it to such a degree, because me and Jeremiah Pop have pretty much been 48 hours. 48 hours video call this whole week, but it was private. But we shared each other's information, and I comprehend exactly what aspect that is and what it can do, and that we advanced so far that they definitely were we were hacked, and our private conversation was being watched and interfered with and possibly recorded. And then after it ended, my cameras were still active for the first time, as was my microphone. It was pretty creepy. So it's like there's certain forces listening, because we do fully understand exactly what you're talking about.
You're aware of it, but what can they do? It's already reached.
They're trying to steal the technology. That's what I'm saying. So don't run away too much.
Your job is to spread it and get it.
Yeah,
of course.
You know what I mean?
Proliferation is going to win.
I fully agree, and that's what we're doing, but we have to do it in a controlled manner, especially in the sense of they have certain aspects of this science already developed into high-level technology and weaponry, but they don't fully understand how it works and the implications of it, and especially how to engineer it on the higher up level and what those implications are and how it connects in and works, except for maybe a small amount, and they're all under Hal Puthoff's directing crew, I do believe. And I have never been so scared in my life, because I do finally have it, and what I have is all of the understanding together. And now,
Bro,
so that
imagine
Jeremiah,
having it for over a decade.
no, but it's the full. Uh, I'm going to be putting the patent forth of quantum matter, and that it's exactly what they've been missing, and they apparently help off his hunting for, so that he can actually build his 30-year-old quantum computer design, and that the U.S. military and most militaries around the world, probably all of them, actually haven't figured it out and don't have it, and that's why there's actually no active running quantum computer right now, because, or any quantum processor, because they don't understand what quantum matter is and how it works.
That's good.
But we do, and thus we have to prevent them from finding out before we've developed it to the level that it can be fully taught to the masses. But in the meantime, what is essential to be taught to the masses is the smaller levels of this technology, and how anyone can make it and learn it and get it out there, and then be releasing it step by step, sort of thing.
Oh, first,
Yes,
you
well
gotta see
said.
it.
Yeah, there has to be a smooth way of doing it. I mean, we have seen, but at least they're not in the assassination mind frame. And I understand that, like,
It's too public.
Yeah, you know what? The
we're
way I see
risking a
it,
time of
It's too
war,
public.
so we don't want to give our enemies any information. I get that.
yeah,
Well, from
You know what I
what
mean?
Tom Bearden describes, those forces told him, you can play with your, silly little energy devices, but don't, fuck around with gold and, making
yeah,
gold.
Yeah, I mean, he owns the gold, but
Well, it's just because of the gold
Yeah.
standard. They don't want the
Yeah.
gold value to
I
go
still
below.
think, though,
It's
just
very easy to
to
make gold.
say, I think America is still the greatest country on earth. I love America. I'm a patriot. I served in the Navy. I know things that could damage our country, and I know things that can
It's already
help our country. But it comes to the right time of disclosing these things. But there's been seeds that have been dropped throughout these channels that
you-
the
yeah.
average person, if they just listen, it could sew them together.
Yeah, I think Eric Dollard nailed it. He was describing the first time him and his buddy Chris made the cosmic induction generator, made basically a galaxy and a glass ball.
Yeah.
And they did it in the guy's bedroom.
I
with
think
basically
Sparky Sweet has something better than that, man.
Believe it. But no, okay, Jarvis,
hold
you
on.
can't be approaching things in the matter of what's better, what's this. It's everything is fucking cool, and then it's figuring out how everything happens, and
Hold
then
on.
being able to build them together. That's what I'm
Can I
saying.
finish? Can I finish my point?
Please
here?
do. Please do.
My
Start
point,
from the beginning.
We're
point
slowly
is-
leaking that, though, Bernie.
What my point is in this whole thing is, you don't need a multi-billion-dollar laboratory like Zandia Labs or these multi-billion-dollar corporations in order to make this stuff. We're getting at an age now where information technology, we're using the internet, we're sharing ideas, we're coming up with ideas, we're making the ideas work, and we're doing it without a massive laboratory with unlimited funds. So I think that's scaring them more than we're afraid of them.
Absolutely, Mike. It's the
Right?
biggest thing, and that's what we're doing and how we have to do it. And it's that the controlled manner that will be successful is by teaching the steps that each of us, like with our own discoveries and systems, and then our groups together, and then how we've taken it to the next steps and generations of technology, is the first things we make public always is the first design, the first like proof of concept we ourselves learned from, and teaching it to others and getting them doing it. And then it's like once they get that, then it's like, it just you do the next step and the next step and the next step in such a controlled manner that everyone, by the time you're done the first step, everyone in the world will be aware that they themselves, with their own hands, with like $5 worth of recycled materials, can make the base level of any of these devices, sort of thing. Whether it's like a battery, whether it's like this or that sort of thing, and that's how we do it.
Like my battery cell technology. I'm building this stuff with a shoestring budget, and I could take my battery cell and outperform any Duracell that was manufactured in a multi-billion-dollar corporation and facility with the latest technology, and I'm building it on a friggin' in my kitchen. You know what I mean?
They're also mass producing them, so
yeah. No, but what I'm saying is,
they got while also affording a family of 3, right? It's like it's your own money. You work your own tiny job. And that's the key point, Mike. You're exactly bang on. And it's the same with pretty much any of us and whatnot, that it's these just regular people in their backyards that have spent 10 years figuring it out, like to certain degrees, and then building it and testing it and whatnot, we're all able to come up with the better systems than the current academic world even believes is possible, right? And it's like anyone can do it and everyone needs to be doing it. And exactly, Herb Green, Stan Meyer is the ultimate example of it. And that a key aspect of the whole water car is that there's a very, very simple and easy method of being able to generate a lot of hydrogen depending on the electrolyte, like the the salt or whatever aspect that you put into the water, and then just getting an extremely high amount of voltage or amperage in, specifically just from the alternator, right? That's right there, going right in just into an extra jar of electrolyte water. Boom, there's your charge, and you have a huge amount of this explosive reactive hydrogen, and it just, you don't have to worry about it combusting because you're not pressurizing it. You're just shooting it straight into your fuel injection and the combustion chamber of the engine, right?
See, here's my cell technology. I'm making this in the kitchen, and this will outlast any friggin' Duracell they ever put out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a decent size too.
Yeah, it's a 4-inch, 6x6.
Yeah.
Something you can literally put under a mouse pad and keep it powered. And
mine, I was going to try to design like a Nintendo cartridge, so you could have a whole bus of them.
Yeah,
and you
like
can make
this one here,
whatever.
This one's putting out about 2.5 to 2.8 volts. So I've actually made some grounds with it. It's actually putting out more power now.
Decent.
Very nice.
That's the one you were talking about needs to be vacuumed, right?
Yeah. So until I can figure out how to vacuum seal this properly, then this thing should last 10 to 20 years. So
it's just a matter of time. I might be able to help with that.
What about epoxy? Would that
no, it won't. No, the graphite's very difficult to work with. Nothing sticks to it. I did find a compound that does, but it's the way the construction of how the cell goes together makes it way more difficult. So
I understand what you're saying, Mike. And
may I say one thing?
Maybe
for the next stage, I think Mike's on. Definitely. I mean, I've been a fan of Mike's for a long time.
Thank you.
You know,
we all are. Everyone in this community.
Yeah, he's just an OG. You know what I mean? Like he really knows what he's saying. He's done the research, and I've been a fan. But I would say carbon pile would be one of those things that you can consider. And I think you know what I'm saying with that.
Sorry,
what I'm doing is like a Zamboni pile.
Jarvis, wait till we're no longer live to share the stuff, brother.
Yeah. When we get into details like that, we'll do it offline.
I would like to speak with you, Mike.
No trade
Well,
secret.
that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. Immediately after this live ends, just stay on, and then we can talk about stuff.
Even though we have no trade.
All right, let's cut.
I'll leave you guys for the after party. I gotta go because I gotta wake up early tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna square up. It's we've done our 2 hours. We can do our chat in the backstage there after the show ends. Thanks a lot, chat. You were really good tonight. We lit it up pretty good. We had some great topics to talk about. Awesome. We go live to air
There it
again.
is.
Yeah,
That magical
I've seen that before.
Polaroid.
I've seen that before. So we go live to air again next Friday at 9:00 Eastern, 6:00 Pacific. And don't forget to subscribe and share to Bernie's channel and mine. Go check out Philip's channel. He's got his Finite Energy. You're on Facebook too, right, Philip?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Patreon. I'll send you the Patreon link.
Yeah, just put it right in the live chat there. And also your YouTube channel as well. And everybody knows Bernie, and pretty much everybody knows me by now. And our members are growing, but my numbers seem to be stagnant. I think I've been blacklisted again. My numbers, they say I got more members going, but yet I still can't break the 4,000 people barrier.
Oh, it happens to all of us, and
it's driving me nuts.
Well, people leave.
Lulu,
People
Phil,
come.
Ben, John Bigman, and Jarvis, all thanks for joining. And Ben, wishing you healing blessings. And if you're wanting to stay on afterwards too, we can talk a bit about the rodent coil stuff that I was mentioning. Either way, thank y'all for joining.
I agree.
All right, guys, we're going to go off air, and everybody, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll be on next Friday. Take care.
Welcome.
Cheers.
Bye,
Cheers.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.